welcome to another video on my channel where we talk all things plant-based holistic health and wellness. Now, 10 years ago, I hit the lowest point in my life and I did not have much health, happiness, or wellness, and I changed that all around with a whole food plant-based lifestyle, and that is why I'm here on YouTube. My name is Lauren. I have a bachelor's degree in nutrition and 7 years of living a whole food plant-based diet under my belt. If you are into holistic living, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an upload. Now, today's video is kind of a hot topic, if you will. We're talking about coffee creamer. I know that everybody has a different relationship with caffeine. I find myself liking kind of having caffeine and then cycling off of it for a few weeks to give my body a break. And I did several videos about this topic. When I do have caffeine, I like a mushroom coffee. I'll link that video here. I love the focus from Lion's Mane. That's a whole other topic. Sometimes I cycle off of coffee and I like a caffeine-free latte, which I will link my recipe for that below. Regardless of whether you're drinking coffee or you're not drinking coffee, I guess you probably are drinking coffee if you clicked on this video. Regardless, this coffee creamer works in literally any kind of latte beverage you want, coffee beverage you want to have. This is a topic that I have been testing. I've been playing around with different plant milks, making them at home and trying to figure out what is a really good consistency nut mix for coffee creamer. And I think that I have landed on one that I love and will continue to make week after week. You might be thinking, why not just buy plant-based coffee creamer at the store? There's literally millions of options now. I can't find a good creamer that has the ingredients that I am down with. Most creamers are gonna definitely have some sort of added cane sugar, oils, sometimes they have gums, and definitely if you need something in a pinch, like it's awesome that there's so many plant-based creamers out there, but this is something that, you know, usually we'll have coffee every single day, and I think having it in your system every single day, like that does matter because it's something you're having every single day. So I've really gotten into the habit of making my own plant-based milks at home. It's actually a lot simpler than it sounds. I've just gotten in the habit where I make this every couple of days. I usually make regular plant-based milk, which is gonna be thinner, and then I make this creamer, which is gonna be thicker, so I use less of the creamer in my coffee drink, and if I'm using milk too, that just has a thinner consistency. This coffee creamer literally works in any kind of like hot beverage, like across the board. It would work for a matcha latte. It would work for a golden milk latte. It would work for iced coffee. Pretty much anything, this coffee creamer will work. Now, plant-based milks can be tricky, but I think the more you make them at home, the better you get at making them at home. And when you get a good recipe, you make it and love it, you've found gold there. I say this because for the last couple of months, I have been testing, trying to get a really good coffee creamer at home. Okay, so back to the topic at hand, coffee creamer. This is literally a topic that my mom and I feel like have sparred over, not literally, but we have kind of butted heads against for years. She was getting Coffee Mate, and you look at the ingredients of what's in Coffee Mate and it's kind of crazy what they pack into a little bottle of creamer. This is kind of a fun fact, but did you know there's actually class action lawsuits against Coffee Mate creamer because of their use of trans fats in their product? Let's hop into what is in those store-bought like Coffee Mate creamers that's in the store and talk about like why it's so gnarly and crazy. So first, the elephant in the room, or the cow in the room, if you get a coffee creamer from the grocery store like a Coffee Mate, there's obviously dairy in it. Dairy can be a whole separate topic for another video. There is a saying called dairy is scary, and that is for a reason. First of all, there are the conditions that the animals are living in factory farms and what happens to those animals. There's a lot of videos and educators here on YouTube. If you are interested in gaining more insight to any of those topics, I'm gonna link up a couple of resources below. These animals in factory farms are basically treated like garbage. It is kind of like we grow up in this place where we're disconnected from what's happening to the things that are on our plate, to the animals that are on our plate. But like as soon as you make the connection, it's really hard to disconnect like the knowledge of what's actually going on and what you're actually consuming. And man, I think awareness just in general in life is our greatest gift, because when we're aware, we can make different choices. So I'm gonna link up some resources about dairy and factory farming below. Dairy is packed with a lot of saturated fat and can lead to a lot of inflammation in the body, and there's a lot of studies on this. So that is the first thing, dairy. But also, these coffee creamers are packed with trans fats. So you might ask what trans fats are. There are different kinds of trans fats. There are naturally occurring trans fats that are produced in the gut of the body, and then there are artificial trans fats. Artificial trans fats, or trans fatty acids, are produced when hydrogen is introduced to oils to make them more solid. You will notice this on a label if you see the term partially hydrogenated whatever oil. That's a trans fat. And trans fats have been linked to a lot of really gnarly diseases and health issues. Alzheimer's, cancer, heart disease, diabetes. I'm gonna link up resources below, but they are gnarly things. Trans fats are also linked to accelerated neurological decline, memory loss. It's kind of nuts. And the issue here is that trans fats are hanging out in creamers, and you know, with coffee routines, it's like you get in a routine and then you do that every single day. So that buildup every day of like ingesting trans fats, what could that be doing long-term to the body? It's scary stuff. But this video is not to scare you. It is literally to offer you this beautiful plant-based recipe that you can make at home. I just want to touch on a couple more things with trans fat. As far as looking at labels, trans fats might not be labeled trans fat on labels. You want to look for partially hydrogenated, and then you'll know that's a trans fat. You might ask, well, hey, why are companies using trans fats? They are easy to make and they are cheap to produce, and trans fats can give food like a desirable texture. The coffee made is thick, right? Many restaurants and fast food places use trans fats to fry in. That oil actually lasts longer than just a regular vegetable oil. Not every place is doing this, but a lot do. And that oil, they can fry a lot more in that oil. They are used many times in commercial fryers, so that is something to definitely pay attention to. Trans fats have been linked to raising bad cholesterol and lowering good cholesterol. And eating trans fats has also been linked to increasing your risk for heart disease and stroke. They're also linked to increasing your risk for type 2 diabetes. Now that you have kind of the full picture of trans fats, a lot of plant-based creamers at the store won't have trans fats in. You definitely want to check the label to make sure, but it is hard to find a great clean creamer that doesn't have excess oil and sugar. I just think this is something we're using probably every single day, so it is something to pay attention to. I remember when I first went vegan, I got this, I think it was So Delicious coconut creamer. Vanilla flavor. I was obsessed with that stuff and using it every single day until I looked at a serving size. So I was thinking like, this goes really fast. Like I use one of these a week or something. And there was like 32 servings in one like tiny little carton, and I was going through like one a week. It does have oils and sugars, so that's obviously accumulating, and I just wanted something cleaner because I feel better and more energetic and less weighed down when I'm just eating cleaner foods. So that is why this video was born, really, to provide this plant-based coffee creamer recipe that I've started making and I'm freaking obsessed with. The base of the creamer is cashews. I want you to experiment though. If you don't like cashews, if cashews aren't your deal, try this recipe with different nuts. And then also please come back and let me know what you think. Put it in the comments below. Cashews provide this really creamy, mild taste that's so good that you can then play with. You can use this as kind of a palette that you can paint with. You can put peppermint in it to make it like a minty creamer. You can flavor it with cacao to make a chocolate creamer. But the base of this is such a good recipe, and you can use different nuts. So you can swap it out with almonds, macadamia nuts. Just keep the ratios of nuts to liquid the same. Add in the dates, and you're good to go. If you have a blender, you can make this recipe. You do need either a nut milk bag or a fine mesh strainer. I've been using a fine mesh strainer a lot lately just because I pour it in the strainer and just let it sit, and it's just less work, I guess. But I also love a nut milk bag. They're super cheap. You can get them online. I will link up one below that you can grab. So you need one of those two things either to make this coffee creamer or any nut milk. Without further ado, let's make the coffee creamer. Okay, so first we're gonna get our ingredients ready. We're gonna take a cup of cashews, 2 dates, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a little bit of sea salt. And we're also gonna be using filtered water. You wanna soak your cashews overnight so they get really creamy and easy to blend. And then we're gonna take a fine mesh strainer and drain the cashews. You can do this over a sink, of course. You just wanna get them out of the water you soak them in.
Add the cashews to your high-speed blender, add your 2 cups of filtered water, then you're gonna add the 2 medjool dates. You wanna make sure they are pitted, a little bit of sea salt, just a dash, and then a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and that is optional. Blend that all up. You can do this in a regular blender or a high-speed blender. A regular blender just might not be as creamy. Then you're gonna strain the cashew milk with the fine mesh strainer, or a nut milk bag works perfectly. I will leave links below for each of those things. And I like to store these in a glass mason jar in the fridge. Just make sure it's covered tightly. It will last for up to a week, but it never lasts that long in my house. And then I'm gonna really see what this creamer can do. I like to froth this actually in my stand frother. This one is by Nespresso. It froths really well, and you're left with this beautiful creamy coffee creamer that's plant-based and healthy too.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see the mushroom coffee video or a caffeine-free latte, I'm going to link all that info for you below, the blog post and the YouTube videos. And if you'd like to see more plant-based health and wellness videos from me, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel so you'll never miss an upload. I'm so grateful for you spending some time with me today, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!